Hey guys, I want to know my thoughts about the Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis situation. With Jake Paul, I have been very supportive of a lot of what he's done because, in my opinion, he brings eyeballs and gets people thinking and talking about boxing. And whenever people think and talk about something in the world of marketing, that just makes it more likely that they're going to do it. So when young kids, they hear boxing, they're watching Jake Paul box, or they're just seeing it discussed, they're seeing that word out there, boxing, that's going to make them more likely to do it. And so therefore that's good for boxing, even if it's not maybe always in the best way. Now, him giving paydays to old fighters like Mike Tyson, like Anderson Silva, whoever, guys that are done, like, that's fine. They're not going to make any money anyways, or that amount of money. And they're not in the middle of their career making an attempt to be great. Because yes, pro boxing is about making money, but it's also about attempting to be great. Anyone that tells you that they only went into pro boxing for money and didn't want to also be great, I think they're probably lying, because they're in boxing for a reason. And also, too, you're really dumb, because the likelihood of making enough money in pro boxing to support you the rest of your life is so small that you might as well play the lottery, truly. Anyway, besides the point, Gervonta Davis is not in the end of his career. He's like in the middle of his career. In some ways, his career is just getting started. He doesn't fight often enough. He doesn't take chances enough. And he just had that fight with Lamont Roach. That's the next thing on the table, if you are still a true competitor. Now, I'm not saying he's not a true competitor, but if you are still a true competitor, what does that mean? It means that you're someone that actually still wants to be great in the sport. And now you can come back with this whole BS argument of like, oh, well, he can get that bag, he's going to get the money. And so, get that money. Can't hate on the guy for wanting to get the money. He can get that money anyway. How can you get that money anyway? By being great. He can get paid exactly what he gets paid for this Jake Paul fight, whatever the hell it is, but it might be divided up over 3 or 4 fights. Well, yeah, over those 3 or 4 fights, they're going to be harder. They're going to be harder than fighting Jake Paul. And they're going to demand more of him. But in my opinion, your life should be about trying to challenge yourself, trying to grow, trying to be better. Don't make money your God. If money is your God, I'm a capitalist, all right? I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I think capitalism is great, and I think free markets are great. But that doesn't mean I think that money is the definition of right and wrong, good and evil, and that, oh, if thou has more money, you are better, and you are doing the right thing if you get more money. And if you get less money, you must be a bad person and not doing the right thing. That's not how it works. Money's a tool. Money's a tool, and money is energy as well. What I mean by that, if you're out in the wilderness, $100 million ain't going to do you anything. You're going to have that paper. You're going to try to burn that paper for some fuel or to keep you warm, and it's not going to help you any more than burning a couple trees. Now, in a structured society where the monetary system operates and doesn't collapse, now that money is a tool that you can utilize to get things, or a tool that you can utilize as energy behind a project or whatever you're doing. That's where money has use, but only use as a tool. But just like you wouldn't worship a hammer or an axe, don't go worshiping money, and don't justify your actions by, well, I did it for the money. Yeah, people do that, and people that do that are not, in my opinion, being true to their actual human potential and actualization. If your highest purpose is money, you're a sad motherfucker. You're a sad motherfucker. I don't care how much money you got, you're sad. Now, it doesn't mean if you have a lot of money, you're a bad person. I'm not saying that either. So, those two things together. Gervonta needs to rematch with Lamont Roach. That needs to happen the very next fight. Doesn't need to happen with this Jake Paul fiasco, which is just a distraction. And that hurts the sport of boxing. Because now Gervonta is an exciting guy that has a fan base. He has power. He's very skilled. When he goes out there and he fights Lamont Roach in a rematch, that's a fight that the fans want to see. And no, you shouldn't always do it for the fans, because you will give your life, like George Foreman says, trying to give the fans what they want to see. But that is going to bring good attention to boxing, good attention to your boxing career, up your value as a fighter, so now you actually make more money long term. Because all the money he's going to make with this Jake Paul fight, he's going to get all with that one fight. And then what's going to happen? Then what is his career? He's going to waste that money. He's going to have people steal that money. The people closest to him are going to steal it from him. And it's just, you can mark my words, that you see it happen time and time again. It's not going to be an actual net benefit for the man himself. All right? So, and it's not a net benefit for boxing. And I'm someone that I like boxing over any fighter. I think we should do what's best for boxing versus do what's best for a specific fighter. Right now, you have this upper echelon of privileged, very privileged guys that have the right connections and have the money behind them They get to pick and choose who they want to fight. They get to avoid people whenever they want. They get to make unreasonable demands. They get to get their hair done in the middle of a round. Those guys are the problem with boxing. And I'm not saying necessarily they're all to blame for it, but it's the systems behind them, the mechanisms behind them, the people behind them that have built this sport. And also, you could say too, the fans as well, that have also bought into this whole sham. We need to go back to the days where guys fought often. Now, you could make the argument that that's more dangerous on guys. Well, it might cut careers a little bit shorter. They might not fight as long. But fighting more often is going to make for better fights. It's going to force guys to have more competition, go against the best. The best will fight the best. And if you're a true competitor, you want to fight the best. And now, guys and gals, they're not robots. Sometimes you can go through a lot of your life being a true competitor and then lose that edge. And if you lost that edge, it's time to walk away. Time to walk away from the sport if you've lost the edge. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I'm not saying Gervonta Davis has to do anything. I'm not saying Jake Paul has to do anything. I'm just saying that I'm for boxing, and I'm for the health of boxing as a sport. And I normally support Jake Paul in the sense that he brings attention, so therefore it gets younger people wanting to get into the sport. But when you have someone who's in the middle of their career getting derailed like this with a dog and pony show, I don't believe that's good for the sport.